This is the Messiah Hour with Ari Lewis.
Welcome, everybody, to the Messiah Hour here on Israel Sports and News Radio. Thank you for joining us. At any time, you can email the program, messiahhour@gmail.com, or you can send a donation via PayPal to israelsportsradio@yahoo.com. Lots going on after the holidays, so we're going to talk with our favorite rabbi from Spot. He's the co-author of the book, The World of The Ger. Back to the program, Rabbi David Katz. Rabbi, how you doing out there?
Hey, Ari. Thanks for having me back on. It's good to talk to you and be with you after the high holidays.
Yes, tell us a bit about your holidays. How did that go for you?
The holidays are pretty good. Just this year was a little different because, I don't know how much you live in Facebook land. I kind of live in Facebook land. And the non-Jews they're coming out of wherever they're coming from, into Noahide or Ger or wherever they're coming, you're seeing a real interest in the high holidays, all the holidays really. I think probably it's got to be unprecedented in the last 2,000 years. I don't think too many people in the shtetl were keeping, the holidays that weren't Jewish. But you're seeing a lot of the nations coming out, being interested in what is Yom Kippur, and they get very interested when they find out that, at least as my work teaches, that the non-Jew, the Ger, has a portion and an active participants in Yom Kippur. Obviously, Rosh Hashanah is an exciting time. So for me and my family in my neck of the woods in Sfat, the holidays are getting more complicated only because so many more people are coming into our fabric and asking questions and getting involved. So it's not as dogmatically Jewish as it used to be. Just kind of like, how it is. The holidays are usually 100% Jewish only. Now, not to say that it's not Jewish, you're adding a different dimension of universalism to the holidays. So that was an interesting experience, and I think a bit different this year than other years.
Tell us a bit. You have a lot of projects coming up, and word around the campfire is that you have a new book in the works?
That's right. For those that are following along that know or don't know, just give a quick rundown of publications. You, as already announced, or will announce in the shows, that we have a successful book out for the past year. It's called The World of The Ger. The premise of the book is very simple. That in the times of the Bible, there was obviously a Jewish people, but in the Torah, in the Bible, it was called the children of Israel. And the nations of the world have longed and long sought to know where their portion of the Torah was. And this has been obviously a subject of debate and controversy and religious disputes for a couple thousand years. And recently, I guess in the previous generations, last couple generations, the Noahide movement started. Nations started popping up, and people were interested in learning the Torah, the authentic Hebrew, the Old Testament, questioning whether a Christian was a valid religion or not. I'm assuming it happens in the Islamic world as well, just not to the freedom extent that America has to investigate these things as opposed to the Islamic world. And what we've done is we've taken Noahide to the next step. It's really not the next step. It's the original step. People call it the next step because Noahide is an English word, and the Torah is written in Hebrew. So where my work is concerned, and I've co-authored a book with Rabbi Chaim Klorfin, the author of The Right Path to Righteous Gentile, we have authored The World of the Ger. The Ger, and here's the simplest answer, it is the biblical Hebrew word for Noahide. What is a Noahide? Someone who keeps the 7 laws of Noah. What is a Ger? Someone who keeps the 7 laws of Noah. Some will say there's no Ger today. Those people have not investigated the sources clearly. There are many, many, many types of Ger, from the convert to the Noahide to the Muslim who simply rejects idolatry because the Quran says so. Many, many, many levels and distinctions, so you can't put a big Band-Aid on and say, hey, it's a Ger movement. It doesn't exist. It is impossible to have a Ger movement, therefore we are not part of a Ger movement. What we have done is unearthed the Torah Ger throughout the entire tradition of Torah, and certain aspects of Ger are applicable today. Call it the convert, call it the Noahide Ger. Now that doesn't carry the same weight, let's say, as the biblical Ger Toshav that comes at the time of the temple. Well, for that right, I'm a priest, I'm a Kohen. And I'm not going to be sacrificing animals anytime soon, at least within the next 24 hours. But I'm still a Kohen. And that doesn't negate my status just because we're in exile. So too with the non-Jews of the world. We may be in exile, but there are Torah words and not categories, just contextual scenarios of reality. The Ger can do certain things. In exile, certain things he cannot do. But that doesn't negate his existence. So we're promoting year 2 of the World of the Ger. We just had a very successful trip to Texas, a unity tour, talking and meeting with many groups and showing how everybody is united behind the Light to Nations cause. And over the years of working on these ideas and polishing these Torah concepts, many articles have been written, mainly on the Parsha of Shavua, the Torah portion of the week. Those articles are being edited and redacted into a book which will be a commentary to the Torah based on Noahide, Ger, Torah of Shem, Insights of Noah, Universal Torah. That book we endeavor to have ready for print and publication and distribution by a planned and possibly hyped up Chicago tour and conference lecture, learning co-op with different Jewish institutions, a live broadcast and streaming from Nativ out of Houston, Humble, Texas. So that's in the works. And the big project of the year is the biggest one for the end of the year. We're translating the Vilna Gaon's famous work of redemption and the secrets of Messiah, son of Joseph, Mashiach ben Yosef, and the famed work of the Vilna Gaon, Kol HaTorah, and its sister book, the commentary to the Kol HaTorah, which is called Midrash Shlomo. We're in the works right now. It started a couple weeks ago. We're planning on every week putting out a translated Parsha, since the book Midrash Shlomo is portioned into Parshiot, plural for Parsha. So we're translating it, elucidating it, commentary, and then ultimately to translate and deliver the Kol HaTorah in an updated, translated, explained model of basically kosher Zionism, which goes back to the Vilna Gaon called Sionit Gra'it. The translated, revealed kosher Zionism, how it is today, where the universal aspect fits into it. That's all going to be included in the book. And then, as I said, along with the articles of the Parsha of the week, of the Torah, and of always doing the World of the Ger promotion and bringing light to the nations.
Again, this is the Messiah Hour here on Israel Sports and News Radio, joined by Rabbi David Katz. He's a co-author of the book, The World of the Ger. And I also understand the rumors are that you're going to be going to Chicago in the next 6 months or so. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's a geopolitical map in America. Not that I consider it that as such, but when I went to Texas over the summer, you start to realize as an adult and kind of from a wisdom point of view that America is not just this sprawling land of NFL football teams littered through the biggest cities in the country. There's kind of a wisdom to it. Texas is a wisdom by itself. I mean, growing up in Ohio, Texas didn't matter. It was nothing. It was just cowboy boots and cowboy hats. But when you're there, and then you know that Ger thrives there, you can understand why. Texas is where you live with the land. The land is part of living in Texas. In Dayton, Ohio, we didn't live on the land. The land had nothing to do with our experience there. And that's why Texas is very pro-Israel and very Israeli. It's just similar to the whole concept of living spiritually on the land. Texas is the homeland for that. And a lot of people are coming around, buying the book and congregating on Facebook. There's a Midwest Ger emerging. And I compare it to New York and LA. New York is just kind of one little hub. I mean, 15 million strong or whatever hub. It's a concentrated hub. Los Angeles is very sprawling. Huge metropolis. So Texas is the hub. Just one, one state, 20 billion Ger. And the Midwest is, your Amazon River flowing from Pennsylvania, Ohio, West Virginia, Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan, Minnesota, Kansas, Iowa, Missouri, right? Just that whole area. We're finding a lot of Ger over there. And they're spread far apart such that you can't just, hop in a car and go say Shabbat Shalom to your friend in Michigan when you're in Iowa. it's a kind of a long trek for a quick hello, maybe as opposed to Waco and in Dallas. So we're trying to get together a trip to Chicago. It's going to happen. The book will be the Parsha of the Torah, Noahide Torah, Shem Torah book will, B'ezrat Hashem, be published and ready for distribution at that conference. We're aiming for the last week of March, first week of April, to get the Midwesterners, Texas North, to come together, or maybe Texas is Midwest South. There's a lot of people that can come. People are involved. We're going to focus it in Chicago. There's a famous yeshiva that I'm familiar with and associated with there, the Telz Yeshiva. They have a branch in Cleveland that I came out of when I did, came back to Torah Judaism and went to Israel. I came from the Telz Yeshiva institution. So we want to get together this learning expo and Jewish, non-Jewish, universal Torah, bringing the sources out with showing working with the rabbis of what's going on, because most rabbis don't know what's going on in the non-Jewish world or the real world. The Jewish learning is very academia. You just kind of stay within the ivory towers, and the goal is to bring to light material that they might not have seen otherwise, and have them meet Noahide and Ger and get to be familiar both sides together. Live broadcast streaming from Nativ. Rod Bryant and his group Nativ out of Humble, Texas. So we're hoping to make an even more epic conference than we had in Texas. Bringing in the technology, live streaming, cooperation, Jewish Ger, bringing new books, promoting the World of The Ger. And I think it's going to happen. It looks like it's going to happen. All we really are short of is just people knowing about it, because we didn't pitch it till after the holidays. So here you go. This is day one of the pitch. We're going to get the conference together. We need your support in pulling things together, whether it's travel accommodations and helping finance the trip for all the people involved, and food for everybody. I mean, it's not going to be like people staying in a hotel. It would be 2 weeks, different spots throughout the area, maybe traveling out of Chicago for whatever reason. But we just need people to contribute, join, support, back, and get involved. Whether it's the planning, just an RSVP that I'll show up, so to speak. It's going to be a great time. The Texas trip was amazing. The various interviews and about it can be seen on YouTube with William Hall on Tanakh Talk. That's T-E-N-A-K, and then the word talk, T-A-L-K. Rod Bryant with Nativ has some of my lectures we did there, and there's a couple of lectures that I did under the Soul Mazel label. So here we go. Chicago's happening. The books are going to be delivered and produced. It's an awesome time to get involved. And we're going to also pitch another project, like I said, the Vilna Gaon translation project. That's also going to be introduced properly, and because by then we'll be 6 months in, and hopefully get people involved in the next project, because we're continuously growing and moving towards the ultimate goal, and that is establishing Jerusalem for all peoples, and to reveal God's presence in the universe. That's our job, is it not?
I believe so. Again, this is the Messiah Hour here on Israel Sports and News Radio. My guest is Rabbi David Katz. Rabbi, talk about why you think now more than ever that there is such a desire from the non-Jewish world to be involved in your work and the things that you do.
Because it's prophetic. The prophecies say in the end of days, all this is going to happen. Right? The non-Jews are going to come and attach themselves to Israel, and King David, the nations are going to revolt against God, and some will be shaken out and return to the Torah, and there'll be a miracle at the end of days that all of a sudden people will come to the Torah, just, Pito, hey, and I'm now believing in Torah. And it sounds fantastic. I wouldn't believe it also if I didn't know what's happening. And I know to Jewish ears, it sounds like, what, you got like 3 non-Jews that are coming out. There's a massive movement here. The church is collapsing. It's not like coming to rubble, but there's an exodus, and it's not a mass exodus like the Exodus. It's a nice steady torrent or trickle from the non-Jewish institutions of religion, and with the internet, people are checking things out, secretly saying, I never actually believed in Yeshu. I always kind of questioned it. I always, my neighbor's a Jew. I always wondered what he's doing over there in the hut come October. There's a lot of curiosity and questions, and they're coming out, and the rabbis are available on the internet for questioning, which obviously you're not going to go to the shtetl 100 years ago, because your people would kill you, or vice versa. It just wasn't a friendly time period in the world. I mean, look, we see it with the Islamic world now. They can't check this stuff out. They'll get killed. But in the West, there is a liberty, and it is happening, and it is unprecedented. Now, are we at the end? I think so. I mean, look what's going on. Syria and Damascus is about to be destroyed. Prophecies are happening every day. There's guards outside Ari Lewis's door guarding his soul. Whatever it is. And Jerusalem is under siege, man. It's not funny over there, but there's a lot of bloodshed happening. So we have plenty of reason to believe that we're in very special times. Everybody has their little sector of the universe to believe that. And my work, I guess I'm privileged to be in this work, because I get to see, we all see good things in our life. Some people have an office window with, a date palm out their window. For me, my window is Facebook universe, and I get to see the Ger world coming alive. And that's one of the greatest joys that HaKadosh Baruch Hu can ever give somebody. That's my opinion. And why is it happening? That's where we're at. It was always meant to be. God gave the Torah. That mankind was going to keep the Torah. It took a while, but I think we're just about getting on our way of crossing over that threshold to make it a reality, an eternal reality. And that's what these projects represent. And I'm not the only one doing projects like this. There's a lot of rabbis doing great work, very similar work. Rabbi Chaim Richmond's with the Temple Mount. Chaim Clorfi, my co-author, with the model of the third temple, Ezekiel's temple. Tovia Singers bring the nations in from the farthest out, nations. Rabbi Avram Greenbaum is doing great work with the African, Judaism, Ger, Noahide, their whole thing over there. So, there's just a lot of great work. The challenge is, which one do you support? And obviously you're going to support me. Just joking. There's a lot of great support. I mean, Ari Lewis deserves everything he's a hard-working guy in the same kind of genre we're doing. Outreach to everybody, let everyone know what's going on in Israel. And the only reason why I would say support me is, if you like what I'm doing, you connect to the message, and you really want what I have to offer, which is authentic Torah, digging out the authentic Torah, making you realize, or showing you where you exist in the Bible, that you were always there, we were always there. It's not for everybody, but if you like kind of a real life Indiana Jones experience, this is where it's at. This is what we do. We dig out pearls that have been sitting there for so long. There was just never a precedent. I like to give the example. Why is it Ger? Because frankly, I have not met the secret Nazarites of Antarctica yet. But if they come from Antarctica, we're learning the Masechta Nazir and start learning about Shimshon. That's on the plate. Okay, whoever gets cloned first from the dinosaur days, that's who comes out. God brought out the Ger, and there was just no reason to learn Ger 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 100 years ago. There's never a reason. If you're a convert, okay, there's a reason, but that was very far and few between, as Lubavitcher Rebbe said. There just was no precedent. But now, with maybe millions of Noahides, Ger coming out just daily, weekly, whatever it is, we're being encouraged to get the books off the shelf, dust them off, and say, hey, I never saw that before. And that's really why we're doing the projects. Zionism, is in the light. What is Zionism? The answer is it goes back to the Vilna Gaon. Not many people know that, because even amongst the Jews, we didn't accept Zionism, not really until today. But Judaism has become synonymous with the state of Israel. Does Zionism needs answered up? Is it kosher? Is it good? What is it? Is it a conspiracy? The answer is everything has corruption and hijacking, and there's always an original format in the kosher format. And that's what our projects represent, is revealing the Torah of Shem, which is a very rich Torah. Just the legends, Midrash, and Talmudic oral Torah accounts of Noah, the Ger, the Noahide of the Bible, Zion. What is Zion? What was the temple? How is it going to come? In the authentic sources, not with ideologies of political slant, but really the divine plan. How was it originally conceived when it was given over to the prophets and men of the sages of wisdom? Our job is to deliver that, and thank God, God is opening eyes, and I'm in a unique position again to reveal amazing things to people simply because of scholarship, and people are working together. I can't do it myself, but we're all working together, and Baruch Hashem, we're succeeding in bringing very, very special Torah, not only to the Jewish people, and not even to the nations, but for all of mankind. And it's really happening, and it's a pleasure to be able to be a part of that.
Again, this is the Messiah Hour here on Israel Sports and News Radio. My guest is Rabbi David Katz, co-author of the book The World of The Ger. And also I understand that you have a GoFundMe project?
That's right. Last night we got, it's Rosh Chodesh Cheshvan time. Right at the beginning, the month of Cheshvan is upon us. In the yeshiva world, let me just tell you how the calendar goes to give some perspective. You're coming off of the month of Av. You're gonna mourn on Tisha B'Av, and then you're gonna get all excited on the 15th of Av, and then you're gonna just go to Klezmer and Sfat. You're gonna go around and travel, and then the first day of Elul, which comes out, when is Elul? Like late August, September.
Usually, yeah.
And the new semester begins. Everyone comes back. It's like day one of the school year. And, everybody in America knows what happens when you go back to school. You're going to get off in about a week or two because of Labor Day. Well, then we go on our Labor Day. Our Labor Day takes about a month. So we go to school for 1 month, and then we're off for a month, which is the month of Tishrei. You have Rosh Hashanah, 10 days later, Yom Kippur. Then a couple days later than that, you have Sukkot, which is very, as we said, very nations-ish. Then you're going to take down your sukkah. You're going to recover and digest. Then you're looking at Rosh Chodesh Cheshvan, the first of the month of Cheshvan. Nothing happens in Cheshvan. In fact, that's what the Torah says. There's no holiday, no memorial. It's just blah. So when you're out there on Facebook land, you're saying, how come the Jews are so boring right now? Because this is the time. It's blah. You're coming off the holidays. You're well fed, well prayed, right? Everything's in motion. The year is upon you. You repented. You prayed. You asked for forgiveness. You got on the right foot. But like any machine that starts, nothing happens right away. So relax out there. I know it's slow, but this is Jewish DNA and Mazel 101, and the Ger is just part of the Jewish plan because it's the Jewish year based on the land of Israel, and the whole world receives the Shefa sustenance from Israel. So this month will go by, and it might be slow. But when Kislev starts up, you're going to come towards Hanukkah. You'll say, oh, but it's the darkest part of the year. That's in the non-Jewish world. In the Jewish world, nothing is brighter than the month of Kislev and Hanukkah. People are traveling for the different spirit. It's not just, getting out and suntanning and jumping in rivers. It's congregating, singing Nigunim, giving deeper ideas of Torah, really connecting to the light of creation and Torah and divinity and Hashem is providence. And from then it's pedal to the metal. You're going to have a re-energized feeling. You're going to just blast through that winter. You come out towards Purim, and you're jumping up and down, and Simcha, the Simcha of Adar, Marbin B'Simcha. You're ready for Passover just 30 days later. In fact, there's a nice little thing, Ari, you probably don't know this. You ready for this?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
From Rosh Chodesh Shvat. You with me?
Yeah.
There's a holiday every 2 weeks from Rosh Chodesh Shvat until almost before Shavuos. Can you figure that out?
Okay. Well, you have Tu B'Shvat, obviously.
Yeah.
And then you have Purim.
Rosh Chodesh Adar.
Okay, right. Rosh Chodesh Adar. Then you have Purim. Then you have Rosh Chodesh Nisan. Then you have Pesach. You have the 7th day of Pesach. Then you have Rosh Chodesh
Iyar. Then you're in the Omer. Then you're at Sifan.
Yeah.
Then it's crazy. Once you get past this Cheshvan, in the winter, it's boom, you're flying. I mean, really, every 2 weeks, it's a holiday right up to the giving of the Torah. And then you're on trial to make it work. Hopefully uproot Tisha B'Av. And there you go. I mean, there's a real wisdom to the Jewish year. So that's what we're doing now. We're getting the machine started. We're coming back to life, falling out of the ice, right, as we enter the ice age of the winter here. And there's a GoFundMe that we started just to get things going. It's the same thing I'm talking about now. It's just an official page. I've asked Ari to go ahead and post the link of that at this broadcast. I'll go ahead and say it. It's at gofundme.com, and then you give a backslash, and then the actual name after the backslash is Soul Mazal Project. That's capital S and then the word soul, capital M as in Mary, as in Mazal, M-A-Z or Z-A-L, and then capital P for project. And again, that link will be posted. We're just asking for people to be a part of it. It's not even about finances or donations. We want you to be a part of it. We want you to be involved. People that support the Vilna Gaon project, the Kol Torah project, we want people to sponsor a parsha if they want, and then they get the rough, not rough draft, but pre-published parshiot as they come out. You can be involved through the year, be in conferencing and discussions and projects. All the things we talked about. Be a part of the Chicago trip. If you want speaking near you, if you have something to contribute, anything to look up, research, this is just basically a big opportunity to get on board. Many people are on board already. People are moving on towards specific interests. New people are coming on all the time that don't know what it is. Life is dynamic. No one's ever turned away upset. It's just there's so much out there. There's so many things to do, and the hardest part is to stay focused because there's so many great things to do. And that's what we've done. We've just basically focused on a couple of things. I mean, there's so many things I'd love to do. There's no shortage of great work to do. But we've chosen this path of public awareness and publishing books and articles, lectures. That's really who the Rabbi David Katz and Soul Mazel and all these things have become, is promoting the Ger, Universal Torah, translating things that need proper translation. I didn't give myself this thing, but it's kind of like the real Indiana Jones of Torah, where there were real gems buried there, artifacts, and we're bringing it out, and it's amazing work, very powerful, and it needs support just to keep it going, because the more people that we get involved, the greater the work becomes, the greater the light becomes, and the more we can honor God and bring the message back to Zion where it belongs.
Again, this is the Messiah Hour here on Israel Sports and News Radio. My guest is Rabbi David Katz, co-author of the book The World of The Ger. So, Rabbi Katz, explain how this whole concept, the Ger Tosha, really leads towards the Messianic era, how it's a vital part to bringing Mashiach.
So the state of Israel in Zionism, I'm talking Vilna Gaon Zionism, was built with the Ger Toshav in it. There was never one second in Israel's history where there was not a Ger Toshav in part of the land of Israel. So to think that it's only Jewish is just not true. I'm not even talking philosophically or ideologically. I'm talking DNA. It's like to say that Ari Lewis came from only his mother, but his father had nothing to do with it. Right? Not possible. Which we know how that goes. But that said, the Ger is integral to the redemption. It's in the prophets. It's in the Torah. It's in practical, realistic life. Wherever there's a Jew in the diaspora, there's a Ger with him. You might not know it. You might not recognize it. But when you get involved and you understand, why the non-Jew says, I feel Jewish in my heart, I've always loved the Jewish people, and the Jew says, I've always gotten along with my neighbors, I had maybe whatever experiences in America or the diaspora, but there's always people that touched our heart and soul too. And I'm learning from personal experience, in the Texas tour, I had a high school friend, I say friends, but people wanted to come but didn't, but one guy did come. A guy who I was very close to when I was 15, right? So it's a lifelong message. It just gets more and more revealed every day that there are 4 houses of Israel, and this is halachic. This is law. This is not like, the house. It's not like Windsor. There's a priest, a Kohen, a Levite, a Levi, an Israelite, Israel, and the 4th house, Ger. It literally is just like very law. It comes out in practical application of who can marry who. But we know there's always a strange 4th. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, David. David is everybody knows David is not quite like the previous 3. In terms of he was much later, and David was attacked by people. So the Ger, in actually the words of King David in Psalms, he's called the God-fearer, which is different from the previous reads, like the house of Aaron, house of Levi, house of Israel, and then the fourth house, God-fearer. So there is this fourth house. The Kabbalah talks about it, the Gerim, whatever you want to call it. There's the Nevi'im, the attachments of Israel. There's a lot of ways to refer to this concept or people, but they're there, and they really represent the absolute essence of repair and what Mashiach comes to mean. When the whole world becomes Israel and recognizes Jerusalem and the prophecies, it in my language, and you can say it in your own language because there's a lot of ways to say it. But as I say it, when you attach yourself to Israel as the Ger coming in, however you want to even look at it, right? Is there's the Ger attaching to us, or we attaching to them? Whatever that is, in Kabbalah Yesod Malchus, male female being rectified, Adam and Eve, Sinai, redemption, Zionism, Mashiach, the footsteps of Mashiach. Mashiach ben Yosef that lives. There's all kinds of ways to describe it. I'm going to call it Universal Torah, the World of the Ger, the non-Jew of the Torah, who's the Chaver, the Chaverim, partners of Israel, always were, never weren't, and thank God we're finally revealing the real reality that there is this, this male-female in the Torah who repaired Adam and Eve, the next step at Sinai, and it is Israel, the children of Israel, and the Ger, and they really make up what the Torah calls the entire house of Israel.
So, why do you think then not everybody's on board with this idea?
Because would you go selling that in Krakow?
We're not in Krakow anymore.
That's the whole point. We're not in Poland. You can wear your shtreimel. I have no problem with you wearing your shtreimel, but don't tell me I'm not Jewish because I don't wear a shtreimel, right? We're in Israel. Me and you, Ari, we did a show about the status quo. You can have status quo. That's fine. But we are in Israel, and we do have Jerusalem. We even have the Temple Mount. Why is there not a temple up there? Status quo. Status quo is non-Jews are not part of the Torah. That's the idolater. Once upon a time, the whole world had a status of idolatry because we were in exile, and we couldn't go out and pick one guy out of a village that was not an idolater. But now we have, not that we have proof or a better means to check, it's that we're in the land, we're free to check. I can be a Jew and on the radio and teach it, and people are there. We're there at the time. It's like you might want to make the bus, but if you're 10 seconds late, are you making the bus? No. I don't care how nice of a guy you are. The bus driver's gone. He doesn't even know you existed.
The bus driver's gone after half a second.
That's that's it. So, if you're a half a second away from this, I don't know you exist, and you don't matter, and I don't know you. I mean, did I know Ari Lewis before I knew Ari Lewis? No. But, when you meet people and you have a soul connection, it's like, hey, where you been my whole life? That's how it is with Jew Ger. And we're at the time and place in history, it's all coming together. The only reason why not to do it is because it wasn't done for a long time. But this is not new. They say that, I'll ask you a trivia question, Ari Lewis. Are we in a normal Jewish part of history right now without a temple? Is that normal?
No.
Why?
Judaism is not made to be practiced without the temple.
So the temple is what you would call normal Judaism.
Yeah.
That's right.
Definitely.
That's right. And the Ger part of our fabric is called also a part of normal Judaism. Being in the land, having a temple, having priests, having a meat business, okay, all these things. I know that's kind of a base way of looking at it. So you want to get spiritual? How about prophets? How about revelation of God? Universal awareness of peace and brotherhood? The world doesn't change. But in Kabbalah, it says that until you step into the lower Jerusalem, you won't recognize God in the upper Jerusalem. So God is there in the upper Jerusalem. It means that the revelation is ready. It's over Zion. Where is everybody? That's why we don't recognize normal. We think that Brooklyn is normal Judaism. The repair is very simple. When you start in your heart, mind, soul, body experience saying and believing and knowing that you belong on the foundation stone, that you belong in the Holy of Holies, that you belong in the temple, and that you're there when the high priest goes in on Yom Kippur, he has you in mind, that when God's presence is saturated in the temple, you're there and you're considered without exception, and that Brooklyn is not where you identify to or wherever you come from? When all the world's energies are focused in the Holy of Holies, then you will understand what normal Judaism or normal Torah, normal universal Torah. When we say Judaism, we're talking all houses of Israel. Because until you're there, it's not normal, and it's missing something. And when it's missing something, that creates separation. We want unity. Unity exists. It already is in the temple. All you have to do is get to the temple. Now, how are you going to get there when there's a big mosque over there? Pray, aim your heart, identify, do what you need to do. You know, I'm not in the temple right now, but I'm a priest, and I'll tell you what, I am in the temple right now. You have to realize, where would I be if not the temple? If the Torah calls me a priest, that's where I'm at. And therefore the Ger, Israel, Levi, and Kohen belong in the temple. We must get back to knowing who and what we are according to God's normal plan for creation. We're in exile. It's not normal. And thus, once again, the world of the Ger is like the first step in realizing there's a plan, there's wisdom in the plan, and we can identify our part and piece in the plan, identify who we are. Not, am I this Ger, am I that kind of Ger? Just that you're with God and you're thought of and written about in the Torah. Then the projects are acting on it, doing something about it. Learning about Shem, learning about the Ger, understand the Torah with you in mind as if it's practical in your life, because it is practical in your life. It need no longer be, I wonder, I wish. Make it reality, because it is reality. Jews need to know that too. And again, the projects are to create Torah, normal Torah awareness, that we can live the Torah today. There's never a time where we couldn't. Okay, we can't bring offerings and have a real priest go in the temple, in the Holy of Holies. But that's not the only thing the Torah allows us to do. We are to have God revelation in this world, and that's what these projects are all about, is teaching the revelation, teaching how to get the revelation, and basically giving identity, or teaching people the tools of how to have and find your identity in the Torah, in the Bible, whatever you want to call it, but be one with God.
Again, this is the Messiah Hour here on Israel Sports News Radio. My guest is Rabbi David Katz. And last question for the Rabbi. What do you see happening in the future going forward? What's going to happen with this movement?
Number one, it's going to get pushed back only because people haven't learned it. We've never once had anybody criticize the concept, the learning, because it's not opinion-based, it's not philosophical-based, it's not opinion, ideology, all these things. It's factual. And the only reason why anybody would ever be against it is they don't know the facts. And that's understandable. Say like in music, you hear that this new band isn't any good, and you say, I don't like them. You don't even know. You don't know. Now, chances are you won't like them. But there's always that surprise element. I think the non-Jewish Torah, universal Torah, in the kosher way, look, it surprises everybody. Everybody knows that a non-Jew can't keep Torah, but there actually is a non-Jew that can keep their own kind of Torah. It's the Ger Toshav Torah. They don't keep it exactly like a Jew, but no one says they have to keep it like a Jew. They're not looking to be Jewish. They're not looking to be an idolater either. There's kind of this strange place of people that they don't want to be Jewish. They don't want to be an idolater. The Torah has them in mind. It's called Ger. Not everybody's heard of it. It just, how can you claim to understand it and hear of it if you never heard? As Jackie Mason said, I never heard of that. If you never heard of that, how could you know? So thank God, now we know. Now there are voices speaking the truth. And you know what? There's things that I don't know today that I will find out tomorrow. I don't know what I'm having for dinner tomorrow, but I'll find out. So it's a good time. There's a lot of Torah coming back into the fold that hasn't been around before. The Baal Shem Tov brought Chassidus, and people said, what is that? Is that even kosher? Well, look where the Chassidic movement went to. I mean, it's as standard as anything. Even, the Litvoks, they're not crusading like they were. The Rambam's books were burned. The Ramchal was seen as some kind of weirdo. I'm sure the Chafetz Chaim had Lashon Hara spoken about him. Everything happens this way. And the pushback is very minimal, what we're experiencing. The only problem we're experiencing, and I'm going to really focus on this, is indifference. What is he really on about? What is Ger? Should I get the book? I don't know. Is YouTube link? I don't know. The answer is, it's worth it. I'm not going to be the first one to come up in your search engine, because it's not about, hey, everybody, Rabbi David Katz, come this way. 3 books for $4.95. Right? We're not doing that. You're not going to find a big sparkling, diamond coat, a cup with drink this and live forever. Rabbi Katz endorses that. It doesn't work that way. This is straight up, wisdom, Torah, authentic. It's not going to be the one with the bling. It'll be the last search on your search engine. The book is not going to be the one everyone says, I think this will give me instant enlightenment. But you know what? Everyone that reads the book, their minds are blown. Everyone that gets involved, their minds are blown. And it has nothing to do with what I'm selling. If they're not selling anything, they're finding the learning themselves. Where we're different is where we're allowing people to have the experience of discovery. Today's world, nobody wants to discover anything. It's if a person wants to get their oil changed in their car, I'll do it for $100. They don't teach you the wisdom of how to change the oil in your car. I'm not saying you have to go out and change the oil, but no one is accustomed to doing anything for themselves anymore, and it's even frowned upon. I don't want to do it myself. Why would I do that when I got somebody do it for me? And therefore, you know what? If that's where you want to go, there's a lot of great services out there. People say, with the Soul Mazel, Mazel name read, I can get a computer-generated one to do that. Why would I need Rabbi David Katz? That's fine. You can do that. But the Rabbi David Katz experience that I'm delivering to people is participation, active participation. They get the experience. And that's what this project and this so-called movement is. It's experiential. If you want to understand what it is to be a ger in the land, this is what it is. If you want to just kind of read about it in a passing kind of vulgar book, this is not for you. If you want your eyes open, mind blown, and to be part of something very special, this is for you. And again, for the rabbis in the world, this is not for everybody. Everybody has a different agenda and a different platform, different goals to achieve. Some people want to see how many Jews they can put tefillin on in a year. That's a great goal. That's just not my goal. I wasn't sent to do that. I'm sent to do another purpose. And, once upon a time, maybe I would have thought bad about putting tefillin on about 1 billion Jews. Not that I thought that. But, there are people that question these motives. And that just comes from the uninformed. What is the rationale behind that? When you learn the rationale, you say, there's method of the madness. These guys make sense. So I know it sounds strange, Universal Torah and the non-Jews, and what is he on about with ger? And I thought ger was convert. There's a lot of things we don't know. The Torah is incredibly deep, and there's a wealth of wisdom here. The only way to find out is check it out. Come on board and see if it's for you. If it's for you, I'm going to guarantee your mind will be blown. Eyes will be opened. And for those that haven't found it yet, I wish you the best. If you're going to be indifferent, I wish you the best. And God willing, we'll all see the light of everyone's work and dance in the third temple with Mashiach very soon in our time.
Amen. Okay, one follow-up question, because I apologize for the last question, but you just brought up something. You were saying if people are indifferent, you say all the best. What if people attack you? What if they go against you?
No one attacks. This is the thing. They'll say, Rabbi Katz is making a ger movement of ger Toshev, but we know that the Rambam says there's no ger Toshev today, not without the Jubilee. But Rabbi Katz will answer back. Rabbi Katz never once said he's making a ger Toshev movement. Rabbi Katz never spoke about the ger Toshev that requires Jubilee. Rabbi Katz is speaking about the ger Toshev that is simply a Noahide. You call him Noahide in English. Rabbi Katz calls him Noahide in Hebrew. We call him ger. Why do you call him ger and not Noahide? Because the Torah wasn't written in English. It was written in Hebrew. And I'm kind of a purist, and I'm a lover of the Talmud, and it's a little easier to speak the Hebrew authentic than to say Noahide all the time. Kamash Milan, we hear out. There is very much a ger today, but Rabbi Katz, my rabbi said the Rambam says no, then Rabbi Katz will say, you didn't listen. I just told you it's not a problem with the Rambam. Have you ever heard of the Ravid? You'll say, no, what's a Ravid? Exactly. It's not a what is a Ravid, it's who is the commentator, the Ravid. And he spoke against the Rambam. But not to say he belittled the Rambam. The Brisker Rav comes as a third opinion and says, look at this. People actually think the Ravid and Rambam are arguing. And everybody in the academies know that they're not arguing. Rambam was talking about a time where there is absolutely no Noahide. And the Ravid is coming along and say, hey, guess what? If there's a Noahide, he can be a Ger Toshav today, just not the Jubilee when they get special status. Nobody says, whatever you heard bad about the Rambam in this particular thing, nobody is saying that that's how the Rambam actually holds here. It is a misnomer, mislearning that creates indifference. All we're saying is learn it correctly, learn it a little deeper. I know how easy it is to take it wrong, because the Rambam seems very simple and straightforward. The only problem is there's a huge world of Ger in the entire Torah. It is pretty fantastic and unbelievable. I'm aware of that. Just go look it up. You don't have to listen to what David Katz told you on Rabbi David Katz, whatever you want to call me. Go look it up. You'll find a billion references of Ger through the Talmud, Midrash, Halacha, Chumash, Tanakh. You name it, Ger is out there. And then you say, so the Rambam is pretty simple, just not the way I thought. And that's really the story of my life in terms of Ger. It seems simple. It's convert, proselyte, okay, done with you, Rabbi Katz. It doesn't end there. That's where it starts. And thus the pushback is only from what you call in Hebrew, lo nachon. Ari Lewis will tell you lo nachon means that you're not right. You're not right, Ari Lewis. That's no nachon. Lo nachon in Hebrew does not mean not right. It means not quite well done. And most matters of Torah are lo nachon. People learn it, we call this 6-month smicha. You learn one thing and it's like, I know it all. And that's the nature of mankind. Torah says, do a tshuva sheni. Go open up your eyes a little more, ask one more question, and then you go for what's called learning bekiyas, learning fast and just, hurry, and settle down. Open up the book, go open up another book. It's called iyun, investigative, in-depth learning. I'll close on this note. The Ger is indigenous to in-depth learning. There is no such thing as fast-paced Ger. That's called Noahide. Righteous Gentiles. Done with you? Okay, big Band-Aid. Ger is where you sit down, open the books, have a piece of pizza, have a bottle of Coke on the table like a bunch of lit fox, talking about the sources, open up another book, make it a lifestyle, make it a literal walk with God to the Temple Mount, Jerusalem, on the gates of Zion, where the Shefa flows, the blessings are abundant, and it is in the name of the true Torah will come out from Zion, and this is the path to that. In every endeavor of scholarship, you just got to get to the truth. I don't have the truth on everything. I don't have the whole entire truth about Ger. What I do know is that we are on the true way, and we've opened up the gates of truth. And when it comes to this, and there is certainly a Ger in the universe, a Ger in the Torah, and it is applicable to all of times, and that's why the Ger and the Jew will witness the coming of the Messiah together.
Amen. Amen. For your Hebrew speakers. This is another episode of Messiah Hour here on Israel Sports and News Radio. Email messiahhour@gmail.com. My guest has been Rabbi David Katz. His websites are somazal.com and gergear.com. Check out those websites. And, of course, check out the links I'm going to post on the YouTube to the GoFundMe project. Rabbi, thank you for being on the program today, and good luck and Godspeed with all your endeavors.
Let me just go ahead and put in one final word, Ari Lewis.
Yes.
Ari is going to mention he's going to post the links. Let me just go ahead and give it my own little nusach here, just make it a little clearer. There's a little bit of confusion going on. The World of The Ger can be bought from gergear.com. Ger content in the written form can be found at soulmazal.blogspot.com. Our YouTube channel of Soul Mazal can be found over 200 videos of Ger-related material, Universal Torah, and all Torah-related things I'm involved in. The Mazal work, Kabbalah mentoring, wisdom, name read analysis, just the more personal panemius or inner dimensions of what I do. It can be found at soulmazel.com. Pay attention to the slight differences in the sites. We already mentioned the link for the GoFundMe. Ari will post it again, Mizrat Hashem. But for those that have a problem with any of the buttons or donating, and online's a funny thing. If anybody is kind enough to contribute or participate, back and join up, or want to come to Chicago, whatever it is, if we've sparked an interest, the easiest way to help us out is our PayPal address for easy payment or donation is soulmazal@yahoo.com, and on soulmazal.blogspot.com there's a very easy donate button that allows for monthly recurring donations for anybody who wants to be a monthly contributor or support the parshas that we're doing for the translation. The buttons are there. We just encourage everyone to get involved. There's a part for everybody. It's an amazing group to be a part of. It's happening. It's erupting. We just need continued support to make these projects happen and bring the universal light to the world. And here's the best opportunity. So the links are there. Thanks to everybody who's supported already. Thanks everyone who's going to support. And don't forget to support Ari Lewis, because he's a hardworking guy, the best guy I know in this. And he's awesome. And without him, this message would be lacking, and it's coming to the world. So I thank you, Ari, and God bless everybody to a new year, and may this be the year of big things.
Amen. Thanks so much. And again, if you want to support this program, you can do so through my PayPal, IsraelSportsRadio@yahoo.com. This has been another episode of the Messiah Hour here at IsraelSportsNewsRadio.com. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Be well, stay safe, and shalom from Israel.